I love looking at images of women!
Here, Reddit, I have an unpopular opinion.
I think that Villainess manhwa is the best isekai has to offer most of the time. I swear I'm not gay. Let me explain. If you were like me and started reading shonen and maybe some generic isekai because you like reading images of boys touching each other in ways that make them angry and gain power, so much so that you literally put them on a pillow you fall asleep with, yeah, well, sometimes reading those types of manga, they don't update as frequently on Mangadex or an actual legal website. And for about 99% of normal human beings, this is where they stop and wait for them to update. But not for me. My list is incredibly long, and I'm barely employed. So when I go searching for new manga, I start by looking at the most highly rated manga. Look at all the covers, praying I don't see lolly hentai. And you know how most English teachers be like,
don't judge a book by its cover.
Well, that's probably one of the most retarded advices I've ever heard. Because if the bitch in that cover ain't got that ass popping or them titties jiggling, I'm not entertaining that book. So when I finally read the most highly rated Villainess manhwa by not judging the cover, oh my god, actual good plot development, fun characters,
intense drama.
Anyways, after reading many more of these Villainess manhwas, I have a couple that I recommend to you guys who might be enlightened by this genre. First, and probably the most popular, is Villains Must Die. It's about this chick whose parents got killed for fucking around in Section 8 blocks. She was then taken in by her uncle, but her family is gentrified, so she got bullied by her two brothers. She could be hood for real living on her own. She apparently goes to school at Martin Luther King Jr. St. George Floyd University. While talking to her host, she introduces her to a popular game, so she downloads this Atome game, and she becomes addicted. So the game is about this girl missing and growing up in the projects, but goes back to her wealthy family and tries to tame men to get married to. Back to the main story. So the game is too easy for her, and the game is now owned by Activision, and she has to pay for a harder difficulty. So she pays 100,000 pennies and she gets to play as a villainess, becoming the heroine with the name Penelope Ekrat. So she can't beat it because playing as a villainess is impossible, and oh my gosh, she turns into Penelope? What? That's where chapter 1 ends. The story definitely picks up from there because she has to use specific dialogue options to not get killed, and one bad choice could lead to her death, which you'll see is a common theme for most of these Villainess manhwas. I definitely recommend reading this even if you're not really into the isekai genre. I think this one transcends a niche. Another manhwa I'd recommend is Roxana. It's about how this chick got recommended reading a porn book about the main character getting kidnapped, penis in her walls, and most disgustingly, watching modern day Rotmic PPEs. And in the novel there are these kingdoms that rule the world. Not interesting. All you need to know is that the female lead's brother got kidnapped by this evil kingdom, and she got reincarnated as the most evil king's daughter, which starts off the story. So the kidnapped dude goes to prison, and then the MC's like, y'all motherfucking hoes can't get shit done in this crib.
My ass gonna sit.
So later she goes down to see him and starts chopping it up with him, and says like, I'm gonna try and get you out, homie. That's about the first chapter. When I first read it, I blazed through it in like 2 days, because I ain't gonna lie, I really wanted to see the long-awaited sex scene of the main character having her sweaty ass because this art is crazy. Speaking of sex scenes, my final recommendation would be For My Forsaken Beloved. It's about how this chick who's obsessed with a video game character got reincarnated. I'll just summarize it in like 2 sentences. Girl reincarnated as an obsessed fan, but realized that the main characters after the main story in the video game turned out to doom the kingdom, and her favorite character died. So she died and went back in time to save the kingdom and have sex. I think this story is a bit more underwhelming than the others, as in it gets too caught up in trying to antagonize the main characters for not apologizing for what they did to the dude who died. And the dude killed a person. But for my foray into the villainous genre, I say I'm positively not homosexual. Nothing is wrong with wanting to look at boys touching each other while using magical powers. Nothing's wrong with that. All I have to say is sometimes you gotta give a new genre a chance, and it might be your new favorite. Bye-bye.